Hey guys, it's Breeze. So in today's video, we're going to be doing my 2023 wrap up. Ignore the mess in the background. I am trying to clean my room right now and I am getting rid of my dressers. So I am trying to make way for that so it can be removed. So just ignore that at the moment. But for the year of 2023, I ended up reading 56 books. That's actually pretty good for me. Especially because I'm always so busy. I'm actually surprised I read as much as I did. I read more in some months than other months in general, but you know what? That's reading all the way. I will say it doesn't matter how much books you read, as long as you enjoy reading. I love it. I love doing it in my free time. I love it to relax. Do I expect to ever get to 100 books in a year? No. Do I have a lot of books on my TBR though that I need to read in general? Of course I do. But I enjoy reading. It's what I do. It's what I love. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this. So basically, I'm just going to go through all of the books I had on my TBR that I read, and also books just in general, tell you if I recommend them or not, or if I enjoyed them, if I didn't enjoy them, and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into too much depth, to be honest, because I do have a lot of books to get to, but I do have my handy dandy reading journal on me, just so I can keep things a little bit in order as I talk about them. Also, if I did read a series, I think I'm just going to talk about that series in a whole than in individual months, because I feel like that'll be easier for me. So I have those organized around me. So the first book, let's just jump in. So the first book I ended up reading this year was Defend the Dawn by Brigid Kemmerer. This is the second book in the Defy the Night trilogy. I absolutely love this series. This series is so good. The final one comes out literally this month, and I'm very, very excited. I've been waiting for 2 years. Wait. Not 2 years, but I've been waiting a while for the next book to come out, and I really, really do love this series. I really recommend it. If you have not started Defy the Night, I think you're missing out. It's one of the best trilogies in my opinion. I mean, I haven't read the last book, but I really do love this series, so I highly recommend that one. It was a great start as well to the year. The next book I ended up reading was The Shattered Castle by Jennifer A. Nelson. This is the 5th book in the Ascendant series. So this series was actually my favorite trilogy in middle school. Then later on, she came out with 2 books. I enjoyed this because I really do love the characters, but I will say the last 2 books of the series I feel like are kind of unnecessary because it follows the events before the end of the 3rd book. So you kind of know what happens before the end of the 3rd book, but either way, I really do like them. I feel like you don't need to read these, to be honest, if you're going to read the original trilogy, but I do love this series. It's a really, really good series, so yes, do love that one. Then we have Light Lark by Alex Aster. This is the Bookish Box edition. I enjoyed this book. I actually really, really did like it. I'm actually kind of rereading it right now because I just got Nightbane, and I was wanting to reread it before I get into it. I understand, though, people's disagreement with, dislikement of this book though. It's okay. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining, but it's kind of true that I kind of dragged on and it was kind of nonsense, to be honest, in some of the times, but I liked it enough to continue the series, so I will be continuing the series. The next book I ended up reading was The Sunbear Trial by Aiden Thomas. I really enjoyed this. I love Aiden Thomas's books. I've read their last 2 books and really enjoyed them. These I love as well because you do get a little bit of that Latino representation in here. This is a series and I'm waiting for the next one to come out. I don't know when it comes out, but I do really, really like it. I liked the events of the book. It's basically like Hunger Games mixed with like something else. It's really, really fun. I enjoyed it so much, and the way it ended too, I need more of that. So yeah. The next one I ended up reading was actually my first romance of the year, and that was Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I did not realize I only read this year. This is probably one of my favorite romances of all time. I love this book so much. I love the characters. I love the story. I love everything about this book. And it's, like I said, it's probably one of my favorite romances of all time now. So I do highly, highly recommend this if you're going for a romance. I understand kind of why people don't like it. I understand the dislikement, but I love this book. It's so, so good. Then on to the next month. So next month, like I said, I'm keeping myself organized. So on to the next. Wait a minute. Am I missing a book? No, I don't think I am. Okay. So the next book that I ended up reading was I'm missing a stack. Where the heck is my stack? Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, so the next book I ended up reading was The Witch Hunt by Sasha Payton Smith. This is the second book in, I believe it's just a duology from The Witch Haven. I will say, I didn't enjoy this as much as I liked The Witch Haven. The Witch Haven was actually really, really good. I enjoyed this one, but I didn't really love the ending to it. I didn't really understand it, to be honest. I didn't really understand, what's her name? Oh, Francis is, I really don't understand Francis, to be honest, in this whole book. But I enjoyed it. Did I love it as much as the first one? No. I kind of wish she would expand on this series just a little bit. But, you know what? It is what it is. The next book I ended up reading was, so the next thing I ended up reading was all 4 volumes. I'm including, but like I said, I'm including all series. So I ended up reading Heartstopper. Basically, I first read all the first 4 volumes that were released. So volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. And then as soon as volume 5 came out, I read that one as well. So I read the entirety of Heartstopper last year and absolutely loved it. I absolutely love this little series. It's so cute. It's so fun to read, and it's really easy to read. I love the characters. I love Nick and Charlie, and I love their relationship and everything like that. So I ended up reading that one. And along with that, I ended up reading the little novella, the Nick and Charlie little novella. Love this one as well. Then I ended up reading, what did I read? Oh, I ended up reading Wild is the Witch by Rachel Griffin. I absolutely adored this book. It was really good. It was more fast paced, and it was a shorter read. It was really, really short, but I loved the story. I loved everything about it. It was so fun to read. And it was really, really cute. So I do really, really love this one. And I want to read more about Rachel Griffin because I heard a lot of her other stories are really good. Like The Nature of Witches. That's one I really want to try to read this year. So that one's there. And then I ended up reading 2 Colleen Hoover books. I will say this thing about Colleen Hoover. Will I read anything aside from these 2 books? Probably not. Because I read It Ends Us With last year. I really did like it. And I enjoyed it, but will I continue her reading? Probably not, because none of her other books really interest me. These are the only other books that I felt like I would like. So I ended up reading Ugly Love. I enjoyed it. I will say I enjoyed it. I understand why a lot of people don't like it though, because I feel like Miles in general can be an ass sometimes, and I understand everything like about it, why a lot of people don't like it. I really enjoyed it. Would I recommend it? To each its own. If you think you'll like it, go ahead and read it. If you don't like it, then don't read it. Then I read It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I was actually excited about this one because I really enjoyed It Ends With Us, and I like that this picked up the last of the other book. The only thing I didn't really like was the ending. To be honest, I didn't really like the ending, and also some stuff in this I felt like it wasn't really necessary. So I'm like, if she wanted a continuation of the story, I felt like she could have done it a little bit different. But either way, like I said, I enjoyed it either way. Was it as good as the first book? No, not really. Then next we have, which one did I read next? Oh, next we have, where is it at? If I can find it. I'm all over the place right now. Where is it? I was literally right in front of me. So the next book I ended up reading was Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is basically a continuation of her first duology. This one involves Rosalind? Is that her name? Rosalind and Orion, and I absolutely really enjoyed this one. Not gonna lie, I think it was a little bit more fast-paced for me compared to These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait for the second book because I have it. It's literally on my TBR for this month. I'm excited to read that, but like I said, I'm just so upset because that's literally the last book of this series and these characters. But yeah, I really do love this one. Then I ended up reading the Last Violent Call novella. So it's This Foul Murder and a Foul Thing. I love these so much. We get to see more of the characters from the first 2 books into this, and it also has events that leads up into Foul Heart Huntsman, which just made me so much more excited for Foul Heart Huntsman, and I cannot wait to read it. So I love these as well, and I will say whoever did the art for these, bravo to you. They are stunning. I really think they're really cute. if you would go back in the thing. Okay, there we go. Then later after that, we ended up reading Saint by Adrienne Young. And this is basically the prequel to Fable. This is about her father and her mother. I enjoyed this. I really, really did enjoy this. I really loved Fable. Fable was probably, I don't know what it is about like pirate duologies, but I read those very, very quickly. And I really did love this to really get a little bit more about Saint and his personality because you see him in Fable, but not as much as you would think. But I really did enjoy this one right here. Then I ended up reading Whiteout by various POC authors. I like this. I really, really do enjoy it, but this is one of the books that I feel like I'm gonna probably end up unhauling, to be honest, because I think it's something that I would read once but not read again, because I did read this and I read Blackout as well. I did enjoy Blackout, and will I ever reread it? No. It's a fun little read, a fun little collection of novellas in there, and yeah, it was really, really interesting. And I also had some of my favorite authors, Andy Thomas and Nicola Yoon. I love their books, so really fun reading those. Then I ended up reading these, what is it called? These Twisted Bonds. This is the second book in this Hollow Vow like duology. I didn't know this was a duology until I was almost done with this book, and I was very upset. But yes, this is the second book in the duology. Absolutely loved it. Really, really did. I loved a lot of things about this. I love the characters. I loved the action. This was like my first like kind of fae unseelie, like the Seelie and Unfae like kind of book, and I really did enjoy it. Am I upset that it was only 2 books? Of course I was, but I really, really did love it. Some people don't enjoy this series. I actually really did. I finished the first one so fast, and I ended up loving this one. So yeah, and this was also the Bookish Box edition of this one. So very, very happy about that one, and I do recommend it if you want like a quick little series, like a duology like that. I recommend that one. It was really, really good. I really, really liked it. Then I ended up reading Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. So this one was one that I actually just wanted to get because it sounded interesting. I liked it. If you're somebody who likes historical fiction, or like, no, this is nonfiction. If you like something like nonfiction, if you like a little murder, to be honest, I think it's good, but it has a lot more architect in it than I thought it would, which makes sense because this is basically following H.H. Holmes and then the building of the world. Was it the World Fair? Yeah, of the World Fair, and also like just the beginning of the Ferris wheel as well. It was very interesting, very, very, very interesting to read, but I know most people will not like this, but I enjoyed it either way. The next book I ended up reading was A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. I actually really enjoyed this book. It was actually really, really good. I'm excited for the next one. It's released, but I got the Bookish Box edition of this one because this one's a Bookish Box edition as well, so they can match. And Bookish Box takes forever to get their stuff in, to be honest, so I'm just waiting on that. But I do enjoy this one. I really, really liked it. This one has to do, I believe, with the fae and everything like that. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Really, really, really liked that one. Then we have, I'm getting a little stuffy. Then we have Soul of the Deep by Natasha Bowen. I read Skin of the Sea last year. I enjoyed that one. I really did enjoy this one. I really, really did love the story. It's a very interesting and very, very beautiful like way. I don't know how to describe this book. It is, I believe it's more like I'm trying to describe this but I do really, really enjoy this book. They're basically they follow Simi, who is a mermaid, and mermaids in these books are people who actually take the the dead, of the people who die at sea, and help them into basically their afterlife. And the first one follows her helping somebody from death, which is against who she is, and everything like that. And then this one follows the second, like after the events of that one, and I really did enjoy it. I will say the ending made me a little bit upset, but I did love it. And I enjoyed either way. I do recommend that little duology. And then we have Wander. This was actually a book I've been wanting to read since I was little, and I actually got to read it. It was so cute and so sweet. If you are looking for something for like your younger sibling, or if you want to read a middle grade yourself, Wander is one of them. I really did enjoy it. Then next after this one, I ended up reading This Cursed Crown by Alexandra Overy. I feel like I need to reread the first one just so I can appreciate this one, because I loved the first book. I did enjoy this one as well, but I felt like I was a little bit confused because I didn't reread the first one, and I should have reread the first one, but I did love it. I did feel like it was a good conclusion of the book too. So yeah, I do really like this duology. Like I said, I feel like I just need to reread both of them together to be able to appreciate this one, because there are some things that I think I forgot. So yeah. Then after this one, I ended up reading some more romances. I read Those to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a collection of little novellas. So it is Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero. I absolutely love Ali Hazelwood. I love her writing. I love her characters, and I really did enjoy this. It was quick, it was fast, it was simple to read as well. And I will say my favorite is probably Mara and Liam. Love them. So I have that in there. Then we have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I understand why people do not like this book. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it either way. This was actually the first romance I ever read on audio, but I will never go back to reading on audio, to be honest, because I feel like romance is something that I need to read physically to be able to love. This one was one I actually did really enjoy. I feel like if I did read it physically, I would love it way more than I did on audio, so I may reread this. But I did enjoy it. I really liked it. I did get the second book that kind of follows the characters in this one, and I'm going to read that one. I believe it's called, yeah, The American Romantic Period. I really want to read that one as well. I enjoyed it, but I understand people's reasoning for not enjoying it, to be honest. But Aaron, gotta admit, that boy got me. Really good. Then we ended up going into July. Read those two. Then we read Penelope Douglas. So I ended up reading, like I said, I'm putting the series together so I can talk about them faster. I ended up reading And Tell You by Penelope Douglas. This is the actual, I believe this is the novella. Yeah, this is like the novella in between the next book of this is the Fall Away series. This one is Jared's point of view of the first book, which is Bully. I really enjoyed this. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed reading Jared's point of view as well. I liked the first book. I liked Tate, but I enjoyed reading his point of view through all of this. And then after that, I ended up reading a while back Rival by Penelope Douglas. I absolutely love this book. This one follows Maddox and Fallon, who are step siblings. This is a step sibling romance. We'll warn you right there. I actually liked this a lot more than I thought I would. I ended up loving this. I think it's just because I loved Fallon's personality, and I literally did like Maddox a lot more in this one than I did in the first two books. And while I will say this kind of made me dislike Tate, though. The way Tate acts a little bit in this book, I don't like the way she acts, but I do love this series. This series is really good, and I'm hoping to finish it this month because Falling Away is on my TBR, so I'm hoping to finish that. But I did continue on with this series last year, and then we ended up starting the Dark Olympus series. So we started Neon Gods, which is Persephone and Hades, and then we ended up reading Electric Idols as well. So this is the first two books in the Dark Olympus series. I will say I did finish Wicked Beauty, which we will talk about in my January wrap-up, but just like going through these, I will say Neon Gods is actually on bottom list. I really enjoyed it when I first read it, but reading the other books, I realized this one is kind of low tier for me. I love the couple, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I will say right now, this one is the one that had my Electric Idol. This one's Psyche and Eros. This one is on my top list, but I am enjoying this series so far. I've just finished the 3rd book, and then I have 2 more books to go, and then she's having a new release called Midnight Something. I need to figure out what it's called, but I've been enjoying it. Recommend this series. I understand people's dislike for this series though, because it is a little bit more smut than it is plot. This one I feel like is a little bit more smut than it is plot, but I feel like going down the line a little bit, you get a little more of that plot. I've been enjoying them. I really like them, so yeah. But I will give you my thoughts on everything after I read all of the rest of them later on. Then we ended up rereading actually This Woman Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi, because I ended up reading These Infinite Threads by Tahereh Mafi. This series, so good. I did reread on audio. I did read these both on audio, which I think it was a good decision for me to do because I really did like the audiobook. I really freaking enjoy this series. It's really good. I remember loving the first one, and then I really enjoyed the second one. The thing I liked about the second one, because the love interests don't interact in the second one, you get to see both sides of what's happening, and it's so interesting, and I really do love it. I cannot wait for the final book, which comes out this year as well. Did pre-order it and waiting for it. But if you want something that has that fantasy element, if you have like a little bit of enemies to lovers, not that much, but it's something a little bit different for me. I do enjoy this. I do recommend it. I think it was so good. And then I ended up reading actually the short story by Madeline Miller Scalenti. This one, I read it. It was short, it was sweet, it was interesting. That's all I gotta say about that one. So then we ended up reading Kingdom of the Feared. If I can find Kingdom of the Feared. Oh, my hips are starting to hurt. Where's my Kingdom of the Feared? Okay, there it is. We ended up reading Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the 3rd and final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. I enjoyed this. I had this in my wrap up. I really did enjoy this. I really liked the way this series ended. But I will say, it's not my favorite. Kingdom of the Wicked is probably my favorite. I feel like this series kind of went a little downhill after the first book, because the first book was fantastic. The first book was so good. The second one was this one was good. It redeemed it a little bit, but I felt like the smut was a little bit kind of forced in here, and it was a little bit unnecessary. But other than that, I really did like, I love Wrath. This man is everything. I love Wrath. I really did like the little twist in here as well. But yeah, I did love this. I do recommend the series though, but disregard the second book, to be honest. I don't remember the second book that much, and that means I probably didn't like it as much, to be honest. Then we ended up going into the Dreamland Billionaire series. So this is Final Offer, Terms and Conditions, and the fine print. I read those backwards, but it's fine. I freaking love this series. This series was so good. I love the brothers so much. My favorite couple. I've thought about this though. I will like to say this right now. My favorite couple, after thinking long and hard, it has to be Rowan and Zara. I'm sorry. Everybody loves Declan and Iris, which I love Declan and Iris, but I don't know what it is about them. I cannot get them off my mind, because a lot of people, this is their least favorite book and their least favorite couple. It's probably my favorite couple. I will say, plot-wise, this one was good. This is my favorite couple though. So, and Final Offer. Really enjoyed, really like, but it cannot hold a candle to these two in my humble opinion. But I do love the brothers and everything like that. I do recommend this series if you want a quick romance, and if you, in my opinion, I would binge read them. If you binge read romances, just go ahead and knock them out, because I really did love them. I really did enjoy them, and I'm very excited for her next series, which is on my TBR this month as well. Who knew that? Then we ended up reading, what did we read next? Oh, we ended up reading The Bound and the Buried by Rochelle Hudson. This one, absolutely loved. Was so good. I'm so excited for the next book. It is a very different fantasy for me, to be honest. It's probably why I loved it so much. It was a little bit different than what I've read before, but it is amazing. If you want something a little bit quick, a little bit easier to read, that's a little bit more, that has a little bit more of that fantasy element, I recommend this one. It is so good. Then we have the Twisted series. I ended up starting the Twisted series. I'm almost done. I only need to read the last one, which is on this month's TBR, guys. I'm trying to finish out some of these series, and I'm doing really well, might add. I'm doing really well. But I ended up reading the first 3 books in the Twisted series. So we have Twisted Love, Twisted Games, and Twisted Hate. My ranking so far, I will say, love this series. So good. My ranking so far, though. Entertainment-wise, I like Twisted Hate. I do love Josh and Jules, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if they're my favorite couple. I said this in my wrap-up. I think they're kind of on the low bar for me, but I have to read the last book and then continue my thinking, to be honest, to say that. But I'm like, if we're ranking right now, I feel like Ava and Alex still have my heart in the first one. I love Reese and Bridget as well, but who knows? Stella and Harper may steal the top spot after reading that book, but Twisted Love, this one probably is my favorite at the moment, which is funny because it's a lot of people's least favorite. But this one was one that I read through this so effing quickly. I read this in a day compared to these, which I will say these are a little bit bigger, but I read this one in a day. So I ended up loving that one. Twisted Games, freaking love Bridget, freaking love Reese. Twisted Hate, I love Jules, I like Josh. But were they my favorite? No, but that's my ranking so far. But other than that, really good series. Happy for those. And cannot wait to finish it off. I'm very excited about that. Then we ended up reading The Bane Chronicles. I'm not going to go on too much about this one. Really enjoyed it. They are short story collections. Love this really much. Then we have Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I decided to throw this on here as well because I freaking love these. Love the Shadowhunter universe. That's my scope about that. Then we ended up reading a historical fiction, actually. This one I really did enjoy. Ooh, if I can get it from under this damn stack I have right here. We'll just throw you down here. Anyways, we ended up reading The Gates of the Alamo by Stephen Harrigan. This one I really did enjoy. I ended up crying at the end because I was upset about the ending. But I will say, like I said whenever I said this, if you like historical fiction, if you feel like you are going to enjoy historical fiction, I recommend it. There were some things in the book that I agree with, no. But I know the story, but it's a different way of thinking about the story as well. I liked it. It was good. Let's just go on with that. My leg is falling asleep right now, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster. Then we ended up reading, I think it was October. October was actually a really good reading month for me. I was actually surprised at how good of a reading month October was. So I ended up starting off the month a little strong with My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. This one was actually so cute. I actually really love it. If you want a quick, fun little read, I recommend this one. Is it a book I will ever read again? Probably. I would probably reread this. The ending was so funny, to be honest, and I did enjoy it. It was really fun to read. Then we ended up reading Almost There. This is a Twisted Tale. This is the Twisted Tale series by Disney, and this one is written by Farrah Rashan. Love this book. It is so good. If you like any of the Twisted Tales, like any of them are like your favorite Disney princesses or something, I recommend picking them up because they're so good. This one made me cry at the end. That's how you know it's a pretty good book. Yeah, but yeah, and Tiana's like one of my favorite Disney princesses. I love it. Anything Twisted Tales so far I have loved, so that's really great. Then we also have, oh my gosh, my knees hurt so bad. Oh, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, it changed my opinion on this just a little bit. I will say there was some aspects in this book that weren't I wasn't expecting, that I wanted a little bit more from, but other than that, it was a beautifully written book. It is so good. It is so, I wouldn't say haunting, but it's like, ooh, I don't know how to describe it, but this book was really good. I highly recommend it. Oh, I love it so much. Then we have Lore Olympus Volume 5. I could have sworn I read War Olympus Volume 4 this year. I guess I didn't. Was it released this year? No, it was released last year, I think. But I read Volume 5. enjoyed it. I will say it isn't my favorite volume. So far, it's not my favorite volume, but I'm excited for the next one. So I need to pre-order that one. But yeah, very short, very quick in general. Then after that, I ended up reading Rival. Then I read the entirety of the Caraval trilogy. Probably one of my favorite trilogies of all time now. I freaking love this trilogy. I understand why everybody loves this trilogy. I will say, a lot of people say, though, that Once Upon a Broken Heart is better than Caraval. But then again, a lot of people try to read Once Upon a Broken Heart before Caraval. I do kind of recommend reading this first after reading it, because you learn a lot more about Jax and the fates and everything in this book. But it was so good. The world was amazing. The magic system was amazing. I love the characters. I love Julian. I love Julian so much. I love Dante and everything. Ugh, this story was so good. I recommend them, and I recommend binge reading them too, just back to back. It'll be probably the best reading experience of your life, in my humble opinion. But other than that, then we ended up going into we ended up reading in the month of November, because I really wanted to read this and watch the movie, The Battle of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. This book changed everything about me. Everything I knew about anything. So this one is the prequel to the whole Hunger Games trilogy. This book was fantastic. I kind of understand why some people didn't like it, to be honest, but I freaking loved it. I consumed this book like nothing else. It was on my mind for freaking weeks, to be honest. And then I watched the movie. The movie was actually really, really good. I really did like the movie, but there was so much I wanted from the book in that movie. But you can only do so much, to be honest. That is okay. But I love this one so much. But I feel like, even though it is the prequel, read the original trilogy first, then read this. It'll change everything you know about life, to be honest. Because I feel like if you go into this one first, you won't... It's not that you won't understand anything in the third book, but I feel like the way that everybody else read it, because the original trilogy came out first, that's the way to go. Just do it like that. I feel like that would be your best bet. And I freaking love it. I thought it was great. Then we ended up reading... we ended up reading Divine Rivals, guys. This book was a masterpiece. This book was so good. I read this book a little bit faster as well. I don't know what it is about this book. It's a little bit different, in my opinion, than normal. This is a romantasy as well, than normal fantasies and everything like that, and enemies to lovers. The romance was so good. The plot was so good. I'm so excited for Ruthless Vows. I did end up ordering the Owlcrate edition of Ruthless Vows, but a part of me just wants to go get it so I can read it, because I want to read it so bad. But yeah, probably one of my favorite books of last year, might I add. But it was so good. I love Rebecca Ross's writing, though, in general, because I read Dreams Like Beneath. Loved it. Love this one. Highly recommend it. Then, to wrap up everything in the month of December, I ended up reading, of course, Forget Me Not. We've already gone through this. Did I like it? Yeah. It was my favorite. No. We went through that one. Then we ended up reading Monsters Born and Made as well. Really, really liked it. And everything like that. So that, guys, is all the books I've read this year. My hips hurt. Everything hurts. But that is fine. I had a really good reading year, to be honest. I've read a good amount of books that I loved. It was only a handful of books that I was kind of iffy about, but other than that, I really did enjoy them. I really did love that I got through a lot of series. Did I complete any series? I think the only one I really completed was, I completed Kingdom of the Wicked, the whole volume of Heartstopper, Caraval. I actually did really well in series, and I'm starting some more series this year as well, because I didn't realize I'm actually not in the middle of that many series. Not that much as I thought. But yeah, other than that, that is my whole wrap up. I will say, just looking at everything here, can I determine my favorite book of the year? Ooh, what is my favorite book of the year? That is actually a really good question. What is my favorite book of the year? I really want to say Divine Rivals, which is kind of predictable because everybody said Divine Rivals, but I really did love Divine Rivals. Or Defy the Dawn. Defy the Dawn was so good. I feel like those are probably my top. If we're talking about series, though, Caraval, romances. Archer's Voice, probably my top. So yeah, that is going to be my whole reading wrap up, guys. Thank you so much for going through this mess of a wrap up with me. Let me know how y'all's reading year went. What are your new goals for the new year? Let me know if we're starting any new series. I do need some series recommendations, even though I have a lot of series that I'm in the middle of. But I always love a good recommendation of something I have not heard of yet. And I'm going to clean all this mess up so that I can get my new dresser in and everything like that. I will see y'all guys in the next video. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.